Hello dear students, last time we studied pollination, types of pollination, advantages and disadvantages of self-pollination and cross-pollination. Today we are going to learn how does nature favors cross-pollination. The vast variety of flowering plants are cross-pollinated and there are some devices or the conditions which favor cross pollination. First one is unisexuality. It means the flowers may be either male or female and they may be born on separate plant. So in this way, cross pollination is the only possibility. For example, papaya. Papaya has a separate male and female trees. In cucumber, the male and female flowers may be born on the same plant. So there is only one possibility, that is cross pollination. If a flower is a bisexual flower, so there is a possibility of self pollination. Second condition, dichogamy, means androecium and gynoecium mature at different time. Androecium is the male part of flower and gynoecium is female part of flower. They are maturing at different time. For self pollination, androecium and gynoecium should mature at same time, but if they are maturing at different time, there is possibility of cross pollination only. Protandry means in some plants, anthers of the flower mature earlier than the stigma. That condition is called protandry. For example, sweet pea, sunflower. But in some plants, the stigma of flower mature earlier than anther. This condition is called protogamy. For example, custard apple and people. So in either case, cross pollination is the only possibility. Self-sterility. This is a condition in which even if the stigma receives pollen from the anthers of the same flower, the pollen fails to undergo further growth. In such cases, only the pollen from different plants of the same species can effectively complete the process of setting of the seeds. Next, hercogamy. Hercos means barrier. In some flowers, the pollen of a flower cannot reach the stigma of same flower due to some structural barriers. So only cross pollination occurs and it prevents self pollination. Next, heterostyly. Heterostyly, in such flowers, the stigma and anthers grow at different heights, which does not favor the self pollination. You see here, you see stigma, style and ovary. This is the female part and this is the male part of a flower. They are growing at different heights. That's why there is no self pollination, there will be only cross pollination. Now we will see the agents of cross pollination, and two most common agents of cross pollination are insects and wind. Some flowers are also pollinated by animals and birds, and aquatic plants are pollinated by water. First, we will see the special features that promote the chances of pollination. Insect pollinated or entomophilous flower, and these flowers have the following characteristics. The flowers are large. Flowers that are pollinated by insects are large in size, so that insects can see them easily. Brightly colored means uh, to attract insects. Insects will attract towards a brightly colored flower, and they emit scent for attracting insects. They produce nectar, and for collecting nectar, insects sit on flower. They visit flower only to collect the nectar. And pollen grains are sticky or spiny, and this feature of pollen grains enable them to be carried by the insects easily. And flowers tend to be in cluster. Next, wind pollinated flower or anemophilous. These flower these flowers are small in size because they don't have to attract insects. They are usually not brightly colored. They do not produce scent or nectar, but stamens have special features. They are long and hang out of the flowers to be exposed to wind. If they are long and hanging out of the flowers, wind can carry them easily. The anthers are large and loosely attached to the filament so that the slightest wind may move them. Pollen is produced in very large quantities. Why they produced in very large quantities? Because they have to they are pollinated by wind, and on the way many pollen disintegrate, so only few pollens reach to the stigma and some pollens destroyed on the way. Pollens are light, dry and smooth so that they can easily be carried away by wind. Stigmas are feathery and hang out of the flower so that they can trap the pollen grains. Pollen grains are produced in large numbers. Some flowers are pollinated by birds. These flowers, this process is ornithophyly, bignonia. Then which is the largest flower, Rafflesia, and Rafflesia is the largest flower and it is pollinated by elephant. Elephophily this is called, and flowers are very large and they are found at ground level. Now we'll see artificial pollination. Artificial pollination, or you can say other name of hybridization also called, and artificial crossing, when man himself transfers pollen to the stigma. This is called artificial pollination. In modern time, most of the plant breeders and scientists they produce new varieties by using this method, artificial pollination. They remove the anthers in young flowers. This process is called emasculation, and cover these flowers with plastic bags, and later they pollinate such flower with the pollens. So this condition is called artificial pollination. So this much for today. In next video we will learn the process of fertilization and germination of pollen grains and double fertilization. So dear students, take care. Goodbye.